Hey, everybody. I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Z Garcia. What's up, everybody?
Hey, it's Friday, and we realized that Roy came in and told us I wasn't online. Mm-hmm. We're doing Essen plans, so a lot of Essen stuff in here. Let's bring down the temperature a bit. No? Let's bring up the brightness. No? What do I want to do here?
Make it hot.
Let's reset it. That did nothing.
There it goes.
All right, well, whatever. That's close enough. Close enough. People aren't here for our looks anyway.
Speak for yourself.
All right, folks, we're just answering questions. If you have questions about Gen Con, we can answer some of those because we were there. Let's see.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning.
We have a gazillion games here right now. Like, too many to play.
Lots of goodies. Lots of goodies.
There's a really cool one right down there, but you can't see it.
Nope.
We shan't tell you.
Cannot do that.
All right. Will we be reviewing the new Dune Imperium Uprising?
Yeah, whenever that comes out. Who knows? Is that even? Did they even announce when it comes out?
It says it's being released in the fall. Isn't the fall like in a month? Doesn't the fall come halfway through September?
I don't know. I'm terrible with seasons.
It's summer here, and in September it will also be summer, and then in October,
A little more summer.
it's still summer.
But then when we get to like December, January, February, we call that slightly less melty summer.
What event would you like to see at a convention? Like at any convention? I mean, like an event that doesn't happen now?
I want to see designers being forced to design a game on the spot kind of stuff. I want to watch designers design.
There was a thing like that at Brazil, where this company that made, I don't know, they just said they had like this huge chest and wooden pieces, and they gave it to different teams. And a lot of them were Brazilian designers. So
I want to watch that, but I also don't want to watch it for a long time. Like I don't know if I would want to actually watch that in real time, or if I would want to watch like a highlights cut of that.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? Just seeing them, and that could be a fun thing. Do like a 1-hour design challenge. Here's bits, come up with a game.
Didn't we judge one of those?
You must have. I think you did.
That was like at Essen in 2019.
I did one that was a dice. There was this competition in which people were creating dice games for this dice system, which I think is no longer around. That was virtual, though. I mean, or it was, it wasn't in person. It was through emails and such.
Is anyone here playing Baldur's Gate 3?
No. Is that just PC?
I don't know.
It just came out and it's getting a lot of buzz.
It is. I love Baldur's Gate 2, but I haven't played that. I played that in college.
Baldur's Gate is very old, yeah. I played...
20 years.
The one I still have very fond memories of is actually Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance. Very different game. Like an action RPG. But I played the snot out of that on the original Xbox. Very fun. No, I haven't played Baldur's Gate. I doubt I will. I do want to play Diablo 4.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like Diablo 3. Yeah, I haven't played video games in a while here. My son got banned from the Switch for a week.
Okay.
So I did not play it out of solidarity.
Okay.
No, I just don't want to play it in front of him, right?
Sure.
And then I just haven't gone back. So
for me, the thing I was playing, and I haven't gone back to it, well, the Gen Con obviously broke that up, but it was Midnight Suns. I've been playing that.
Oh, I need to get back to that. That's on my... Yeah. I should have played that in the van. I was doing work or power napping.
If that's what you want to call it.
That's what I want to call it. Let's see. Our predictions for Nerds Day. I don't know, but I guess today's Nerds Day. Game Nerds.
Oh.
Get your games. Kenny's probably sitting there buying them all.
That checks out.
Is there anything specific you're hoping your table at the Dice Tower Retreat? I have about 50 games I need to play.
Gosh, yeah.
I have a whole shelf of games I'm bringing. I do want to play one good game of Cosmic. I just played one, or I ran one at the Gen Con, and I'm in the mood to do a big Cosmic game. Other than that, though, I don't know.
I always take a few small things with me and show them off to people, things that kind of fell through the cracks and folks maybe don't know. That's it. I would like to play some new games. Well, right now we have a lot of new games, so.
Yeah, I'm in the mood to play new games. What's our favorite pirate ninja game? Well, it ain't Ninja, that's for sure.
No, probably
Pirate.
Jamaica for me.
Maybe Forgotten Waters. I really like that Plaid Hat game.
Mm-hmm. I watched the list. I was doing timestamping on it, and yeah, it was a solid list. I thought they did a good job. There were a couple of ninja games I would have put on there, and like Ninjato is a game I actually think is
Yeah, I told Chris I think he would like Ninjato.
Yeah, that's a good push your
It's
luck
a pretty
game.
solid game. Did we stop at Buc-ee's on the way home? We did, but only once.
Mm-hmm.
Because the second time we were still full from the first time we'd gone to Buc-ee's.
We were booking it too on the way back. We were trying to avoid stops, too many stops, especially lengthy stops.
Yeah, but when we came up, the Buc-ee's were on 2 different days.
Yeah.
That's why it was easier to do. 'Cause they're like 3 hours apart, and if you eat at Buc-ee's, you don't need to eat for a long time. I actually overate at the first Buc-ee's on the way back.
They're good. That beef jerky, boy, so good.
Let's see. What are our heat index ratings?
Speaking of Buc-ee's, I want to try one of those hot honeys you got.
Oh, I'll bring them in. I haven't opened them up yet.
I want to mess with that one. The jalapeno one, not so much. The other one, forget what it was.
So far, the stuff I got at Buc-ee's, the sunflower seeds, I'm not a fan of because they have these cool flavoring, but it's on the outside of the seed,
Sure.
the shell.
Yeah.
So you crack it open, then the seed's in the inside.
Yeah, you're meant to like sort of, chew it for a while, I guess.
So I experimented with this last night. I chewed them into a pulp. That's terrible.
Ugh, yeah.
Then I popped them open. That took forever. So I looked online, how to crack sunflower seeds fast.
Okay.
So you put them in a plastic bag, and you roll a roller all over them
Okay.
to crack them. Then you dump it in water. The shells float to the top, and the sunflower seeds are at the bottom.
Wow. But then they washed.
But then they have no flavor on it, as I found out. I did it, and I was like, oh, that was not smart. Also, the water was gross.
Yeah.
They look like bugs. I don't know why. The whole thing, it was messy.
Huh.
Hey, but the beef jerky was amazing.
Beef jerky's great.
What's the heat index ratings? I don't know, but I know there was a heat warning. There's like one almost every day
Every
now.
day lately we get one, and so it's like, hey, it'll feel like 110. It'll feel like 108. That seems to be the standard lately.
I was telling Laura this morning, I think this is the hottest summer I can remember in a long time.
Me too.
It's really hot. Now, fortunately, here in Florida, we have great air conditioning.
Mm-hmm.
Something we realized as we drove up to Indianapolis
Yeah.
does not. We went to the north of Florida, and the hotel there, when we got in the rooms, the air conditioning was off. You had to turn it on. And when you left, they're like, turn it off. I cannot even fathom that in the Miami area. You would go to jail if you tried to do that sort of thing. And then...
Yeah. In other countries that don't have it at all, you know what I
Sure.
mean? It's like if it gets hot, you don't have an escape route. You just suck it up. I always travel with a fan, a small, sort of desk fan, because I need to, really.
I did enjoy the weather in Indianapolis. There was a couple hotter days. That Wednesday was gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
I went outside, just sat for a while. All right. What was your biggest game you were maybe surprised to find at Gen Con that you maybe didn't go looking for? It's a bunch of maybes. I didn't get Disney Dixit because I didn't know it was there. I would have gotten it.
I don't think I saw it. Game was there that you were surprised to find that I didn't go looking for. Well, they had to follow up. Yellow had to follow up to get on board. Didn't know that was going to be there.
Oh, I didn't even know it was there.
I forgot that it was going to be there. So the first one's really just like, I think it's just a new map. It's 2 new cities, whatever they are. And so again, you have a map for 2 to 3 players. You flip it over. It's a different city for 4 to 5 players. I should have probably grabbed it. And I might at some point. I really do like that game a lot. But I didn't know it was going to be there.
Oh, I just answered that. Marianne says they did have a design event at Gen Con.
Oh, very nice.
It is easy to miss stuff at Gen Con because there's so much going on. Like I was walking down the one hallway and I saw like this mural that you could paint on. And there was a guy who's like directing it. You go paint. I was like, I've never seen that. Maybe it was there in years past. I don't know. I thought it was neat.
That's cool.
That's the cool thing about Gen Con is you can go around any corner and find something.
Yes. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, they had the big Robo Rally game. I saw that. That's a staple there.
I went upstairs for a while and I saw the Artemis Project. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
We haven't done that in ages.
That's a throwback. That's a throwback.
I would play that again.
A lot of people do enjoy that. Yeah, you feel like you're on the bridge of a starship.
Yeah, it's really fun. Hottest game at Gen Con? Well, Lorcana. Like, it's not even close, right? Hottest board game? I wouldn't even know. It's hard to tell because, like, some games sold out every day, but there's fewer copies of them.
Yeah,
some
that's
sold
the
out,
thing.
Some didn't run out, but they sold steady over it. I would tell you what, people were buying games.
Yeah. There's a few things that did very, very well, but again, based on how many they had, that's tricky. Like I know, for example, that Thunder Road Vendetta, that Chrome edition, and that's not a cheap game either. They had a few piles of those, and they were selling those. They sold those.
Yeah, people were not really worried about expensive games. Last Light with the deluxe edition, that went pretty quickly. Mm-hmm. Even Lorcana, people were dropping $200 a pop on it.
Yeah.
What are some typical slower months of the year for you guys? Bluevember. March?
I don't know.
Maybe March. We're deliberately not going to a con in December this year, which will help, but even then, taking outside us prepping for the Kickstarter and stuff at work,
sure,
it's Christmas. It's just, there's stuff that goes on in life in general.
It's tricky, yeah. How about this? We have slow weeks sometimes. I don't know about slow months.
Are you looking forward to Feast of Hemlock Vale? I don't even know what that is.
I don't know either.
Oh, what about these new Arkham Horror LCG campaigns where the whole campaign comes in a single box?
I like that. I think it's a solid move. I'm glad they went that way. I think it's a good way that you don't have to. Yes, it's a bigger investment up front, but you get the entire storyline. And they've been able to do some things with the newer ones that they couldn't do before because they couldn't count on you having them all. You know what I mean? They needed to be standalone. I know the last one they came out with, you actually can explore the story whatever order you want to. So now, in this last one they did, you have a world map, and you can go, okay, we're going to go to Egypt. We're going to explore what happened there in Egypt. You spend time to get there, what have you, and then you do that chapter. In the past, sold piecemeal, they couldn't do that. They didn't know if you owned the Egypt one. So I like it. I think it's a great move.
Tommy, I remember you from our pizza meetup. He said, thanks for the Hook'em, Z. What, Hook'em? You played a game called Hook'em?
I don't remember. For the Hook'em. I don't know.
Anyway, does Eric play every game he wins? Yes. No, not really. But he wins a lot of games.
He's very good at games. Eric is very good at games.
We have a lot of people today that are very good at games. So I can't tell if everyone's good at games and I just suck.
It could be.
Or we just have a high proportion of people who are good at games.
I definitely don't feel like I win a lot of games around here, which is fine. I don't care, but I know that there's a few people who I certainly would say are very good at games. I think Eric is one of them.
Let's see. Anything from Gen Con you would like to bring into your conventions? The money. Oh. It's kind of funny because I do my conventions the way I want to do them.
The thing you just mentioned is a cool thing. The whole have an art wall or whatever. I love that.
That is a neat thing. I actually thought, where did I see it? There was like for $2,000 you could pay to get this like mosaic wall set up and people take pictures and it goes up on this wall and makes a mosaic. Oh, wow. But it was a lot of money to rent that or whatever, and I thought that's a cool thing. I would like that at a con, but anyway, we're talking about Gen Con. Yeah, I mean,
there's a few things I think would go well, like the painting together throughout the weekend or the week. There's some few things I don't think that would go over well, like the balloon structure is like no, let's not.
That's cool.
That. It's great there, and I think they knocked that out of the park this year. The lunar landing was great. Doesn't feel like it fits at one of ours.
We don't have a ton of room right now. Well, maybe let me think about West. Let's say West, because we have room at West. So, which by the way, tickets are on sale now for Death Star West.
Yeah.
What I would bring? Oh, that Artemis Project. If someone's willing to run it, I would love to have that at West.
Yeah.
Because that's really fun. But you need somebody who can run that and set up the computers and everything.
Well, what about something like a True Dungeon type thing? Would you do that?
I would.
It's just, I mean,
That's a lot of money. The one thing I don't like about True Dungeon, other than it costs a lot, is the collectability of those chips. I almost wish, and I know that it wouldn't sell as well, but they're like, here are the chips. You make these chips work through this dungeon.
Yeah.
Like a game.
Yeah.
But if you walk in with a Vorpal sword and I'm sitting here with whatever, I don't know.
I do like the idea, though, of having, maybe not True Dungeon, but having an escape room that folks throughout the weekend can kind of run through. That would be really fun. That's, again, logistically a nightmare.
Oh, Baldur's Gate is PC only, but console's next month.
Cool.
I don't need it.
All I got to do now is get a new console. I have been tempted lately. I'm definitely like, I'm on the cusp of being like, they keep being like, PlayStation 5 is $50 off or whatever. I'm like,
well, you're getting close to the next generation, so you not for PlayStation,
yeah, not quite,
but for Xbox, Switch for sure. Although I don't know, they haven't announced anything.
I don't think so.
Anyway, this person says Gen Con feels more like a purchasing con than a playing con, which seems different to many cons, including Dice Tower events. Before I get yelled at, Gen Con is a humongous con, so you can make it any con you want. I know some people told me they go there and they don't go to the exhibit hall at all. Now, that's not true for majority of people. I know this because I'm in the exhibit hall, and a lot of people come through there. But it could be a playing con for you.
There's a lot of role playing, not necessarily D&D, whatever, but there's a lot of role playing there. You could go there and play the whole weekend. I went to a meeting in the stadium where they held it in a box. Okay. Like the boxes people sit in for the parties. Yeah.
And as I was going there, I passed a lot of role playing games that were in those boxes, and I thought, that's a great place for a role-playing game.
Fantastic.
Really great spot for that. I don't know if those cost more to play in those. Yeah. That was neat. Anyway, my preference is all the cons. And what I mean is I love going to Gen Con and Essen and seeing a gazillion games for sale. And then I like going to like one of our cons or something else and playing the games.
Yes.
If I only went to playing games cons, I would feel that itch like I'm not seeing all the cool things. Mm-hmm. Because at Gen Con, it's not just the games for sale. I like looking at the apparel and the guy selling cool stuff for dungeons and dice and there's all kinds of stands there. The art. Gen Con has the best art show. It's better than, I just went to the Comic Con, which is a huge show here in Miami, and their art was it's not even comparable. Wow. It's night and day.
Really?
I mean, they had some good artists, but like every artist at Gen Con was amazing.
I agree with that. I loved walking around there.
Let's see here. Are you going to see the new Ninja Turtles movie? I'm not planning on it.
I think it looks pretty cool. I don't know if I'll go see it, but I might.
I don't see a ton of movies. I usually wait till they come out streaming.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything for a while. Mario just came out streaming. So now my son has a new streaming movie to watch.
Is he watching it a lot? Is he one of those who puts it on?
No, he would rather play Mario.
Okay.
If I take that away, then he's like, okay, I guess I'll watch TV. Kids these days
watch Mario.
Kids these days are very different.
Does he watch? This is a thing I've noticed, like an interesting phenomenon that a lot of kids partake in. Does he watch videos of other people playing video games?
Yes, although I'm very, very strict on who they can watch.
Many of them are pretty, they're foul-mouthed.
It's not even just foul-mouthed. There's a level of stupidity.
Yes.
And you want your kids to get a little smarter.
Yes.
I'm not saying all the streamers are stupid and how they act, but there's a lot of
Nobody thought you said that. There was probably not a clarification you had to make.
Oh, I just want to be careful. There's just a lot of like, ooh. I'm like, okay, that's funny, and I'll laugh at it too. But if you watch 4 hours of that, I'd rather you've watched something with some sort of semblance of story and character.
Learn a new word or something.
Keep a boss that wears weird hats and ties. Yeah, if you haven't seen the award ceremony, watch it. He has a great skit in it. Where are we at? Do I have a favorite hotel in Indy? We've only stayed at 2, right?
3 maybe?
Oh, no, I've stayed at 4, actually. But we stay at the Hyatt, and that's my favorite. The location, there's always something going on. The BGG Games hot room's there.
Yep.
The Subway this year was open till 1 in the morning. Not that I'm awake that late.
And that pizza place, I like that pizza place a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
I got to get some of that.
Yeah, it's really good. I like it a lot.
My grandson's watching the stream. Besides Brazil, are there other markets, countries you're excited about as far as new games being published are concerned? And is there a good source to import from those countries? Ooh, so what country besides Brazil are you?
Countries are excited as far as new games being published. Yeah, I'm assuming you mean like that are breaking into the...
Well, I mean, Japan is the obvious.
Japan and France are, again, sort of the obvious ones, and I do like... I do dabble a little bit in getting games imported, especially from Japan.
Mike helps us out with that.
Yeah.
Mike will be like, here's where you get it.
Yeah, Mike is very good at that. Japan imports, I don't know where you would get that from, but Mike probably does. If I wanted to, I would ask him because I know he's done it. Yeah, as far as new markets, I don't know, just South America in general, I think there's a lot of untapped potential there.
I'm intrigued with India.
Yes.
With 1 billion people, that's a huge pool that would be untapped.
Interesting. There, we saw a couple of very interesting games from India at Spiel, the Essen Spiel last year. And they were incredibly well finalized, very specific thematically. Yeah, I think there's a lot of interesting experience that are coming out of India for sure. And again, these other places that are sort of hitting that world stage.
The Balkan states, we're seeing more stuff come from them. And I'm still waiting to see more coming from Africa itself. I know there's stuff coming from there. I just haven't run across a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, after your first longer travel with the van, are you happy with your purchase? For that, 100% yes. I mean, we use the van consistently here just for transportation and stuff. Mm-hmm. People don't realize how big one of those vans is on the inside. Like, we had 2 seats in the van, and we fit a ton of stuff. If we had taken out one more seat, we could have fit... Well, I know. We took out all the seats, and like when we went to Dice Tower East, that van was packed.
Yeah.
It runs real smooth. We had to get the air conditioning fixed, but it works to the point where we turned it down.
It's very good at this point. That was my one... Again, like I said, I travel with a fan, and I want to be cool. So, yeah, the AC is rocking in it. So.
And it runs real smooth. Gets okay gas mileage.
How would you say it drives, Tom?
Well, I'm sitting in it.
How's it steer? How's it handle?
I've driven it. Actually, what's the farthest I've driven it? I drove it home from the when I bought it.
Okay.
I drove it home when I bought it.
Point being, Tom doesn't drive a lot, folks.
I don't try to. My druthers are never to drive at all.
Yes.
I don't like driving.
Get your bicycle.
Let's see here. What's your preferred sweet spot game length when playing at a convention or meetup?
Game length?
It all depends. Like at Gen Con, my preferred length would be 45 minutes because I want to play with as many people as possible. But like the Dice Tower Retreat coming up, I don't care.
Yeah.
Because it's 6 straight days of gaming. So if we play a 4-hour game, I'm fine.
Yeah. It is the one, that's the thing. The preference for me is usually about an hour and a half. But it is a fantastic, going to one of our Dice Tower events. That's where you get to play the big ones. You're not going anywhere. If you're on the Dice Tower cruise, for example, you're on the ship. You're not going anywhere.
I still prefer to play those biggest games at home. You can leave them set up. If you're like, let's take a break. Like, me and my kids are playing the Freelancers, the new game from Plaid Hat. It's like, I don't know, maybe a 3-hour game. Maybe. Okay. But, I don't know if you played the Forgotten Waters.
No, I haven't.
Well, it has like a break that you can do halfway.
Okay.
This one has ways to save it. And I was like, why? Let's just leave it set up. School hasn't started yet. Starts next week. Yes! Except for one problem with school starting up, and that is traffic.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're going to get hit with that.
It was nice. It was nice not having traffic.
Yeah, it's one of those things I haven't thought about, actually, and now when it starts up, I'll be like, what? Oh.
Traffic. Do we stream on other things? We do not. We stream on YouTube. I'm not saying we will never not stream on other things, but don't look for it soon. Best breakfast place in downtown Indy? That little cafe, Patoki. I don't remember how to pronounce it. Patoki. Yeah, the one that has a giant cinnamon toast. You didn't go there this year. We've gone there in years past. It was like the last thing we would go to.
Oh.
It's like a real fancy hipster place.
Yeah. Okay, it's super fancy. It's. We walked from the hotel last time.
I went there this year on Wednesday because it's too crowded the rest of the time. Me and Roy went there. We went early.
I think my favorite place to go. This is not a breakfast thing, but it's that. Mike took us there. It's like a deli type thing. What's that called?
Shapiro's?
The very famous one. Yeah, is that it? Or I don't know if it's famous. It's like well attended.
The ones with Rubens and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, Shapiro's.
Oh, so good.
Did you go there this year?
No.
I did. I went and I had a Reuben, and then I didn't eat for the rest of the day.
It's good. That place is great.
How long does it take to fully feel recovered from Gen Con or Essen? Very different for me because Essen we're dealing with jet lag.
Yes.
Essen's like
different.
a week.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah, Gen Con's a couple days.
Gen Con, I came back. We got back, and I was like, I'm feeling fine. And the next morning I woke up, and I said, oh, I'm not feeling as good as I thought.
Yeah.
I was really tired on Tuesday.
Yeah.
But it's the same time zone.
It is. It was different this time because of all the driving. There was a lot of driving, and I sort of did the last leg there, which was a few hours, and it was like that whole, like, come on, almost there. Oh, no, we have to drop Kenny off. Come on, Kenny, get out. We're almost there.
We were talking about ejecting Kenny.
So, yeah.
Does that last hour bother you the most, you think? Because you're, like, almost there?
It's not that it bothers me the most. It's nice to be in a region where I recognize landmarks, so it feels familiar. I'm like, I'm almost home. There's that feeling.
Oh, so you feel better almost home.
It's just that last hour or two really does sort of, it feels like it stretches out a little longer.
I agree on that.
Anyway, I don't know, like 3 days then is probably what it does. For something like us, and Tom's right, it'll be like a week just to sort of, you gain an hour, they say, a day, jet lag. So, yeah, it takes like 6 days then.
Would I eat a Sonic Blue chili dog again?
Ugh.
No, but I did it just to see what it was like.
It's so bad. It sounds so terrible. And even if it was just blue, I'd be like, this is weird, but I'll eat it if it just tastes like a hot dog. The fact that they put it in Kool-Aid, and because it's porous, the hot dog tastes like a Kool-Aid hot dog.
See, that's what sold me on it, though.
Oh.
You know what, though? When I took a bite out of it, the inside is like exactly like a hot dog.
Like there was no color transference there?
There was not.
Okay.
But that made it look, again, I'm telling you, when I got it, I was like,
ceased.
Can I eat this thing? Because it looked like radioactive food.
Oh.
But it wasn't, I think I would have enjoyed it more had it been bright blue. But it was just like
a muted blue. Did
it was almost
remind you
green.
of those things we got once? The cookies, the fortune cookies?
Yes. 100% yes.
Yeah.
One year we got fortune cookies for Gen Con. And they had fortunes in them. And we thought, we'll get blue because they offered blue.
Yeah, they'll dye them for you.
But no one wanted to eat them because they looked like they were all...
Yeah, we kept people away because they would dye your mouth so bad. But, they looked like they had turned.
We should do that again.
It was a great...
With normal fortunes.
I thought that went...
Cookies.
That was incredibly interesting.
Yeah,
we wrote up all the fortunes that went inside of them. We wrote them up. Some of them had prizes.
Yeah, like 1 out of 20, you won a die or something.
Yeah, and and I don't think it was a mistake. We didn't know. Our only unfortunate call was making them blue.
Although if they would be so popular, if we did it again, we would have to clip the bottom corner of your badge. So
you keep the top corner, okay? You're going to need that for Lorcana. We'll take the bottom corner.
All right. Was any of Renegade's Heroescape shown off at Gen Con? No. I talked to them a little bit about it, but they weren't showing it. Do you use BGG's Stats app? I don't. Do you?
BG Stats app, not the BGG.
Oh, just board game Stats app?
I had it for like 3 days, and then I got rid of it. It was okay. It wasn't for me. It's too granular for me.
Would you ever go to con just to stand in line? Oh, this is a good question. Hours to buy a game. It sounds like a waste of your limited con time. This depends on the person. What's the longest you've stood in line for like anything that wasn't a requirement? Like not DMZ or, where you had to be in line. Like you voluntarily stood in line. Like for a concert, movie, show, whatever.
I'm trying to think. It's either a ride at like a Disney type place, or I stood in line to get like an Xbox 360, I think. Neither one was that many hours, but maybe 2, maybe 3.
I think 2 is the most, and it's mostly rides, like you said.
Yeah.
At amusement parks. But to buy something, I've never done I did Black Friday once. There was a toy store. This is when we first got married. And I went to the mall to play games. And I was like, oh, I'm going to play at the game store, but I'll just stand in line at the toy store. And it was like 30 minutes. I got in and I didn't want anything. And I thought, what a waste of time this was.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the whole lineup the night before, I've never done that. Knock on wood, I'm too old and too fat and too over it at this point to really do that whole
I've never
show
wanted
up
to do
the
that.
night before, which they were doing here, like they started lining up at 6 p.m. for something that they'll start selling you, letting you have, what have you, the next morning. I'm sorry, no. I'm not in my 20s anymore. I can't do that thing. And I never did it then. I'm not about to start now. That's a lot of hours. That's a whole night, too. You're talking about a recovery from Gen Con. I'm going to need some serious recovery from that.
I dislike standing in line that much. To me, let's say there's something I really wanted. Let's say there's a limited amount of game X.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather go to bed, work on a Saturday at some part-time job, or do some extra stuff, earn the money, and buy it from the person who did stand in line.
Yeah.
Because I would rather work on my time than stand in line.
Yeah.
Because standing in line, especially overnight, that just sounds horrific.
That feeling of like just burning time.
People who camp out for the movies, that doesn't really happen anymore.
Yeah.
Because now you can just buy your tickets ahead of time online.
Yeah.
You never did that back in the day when you were a teenager, like waited for a long time for a movie?
Nope.
I remember when the Star Wars came out, people were in line for like months, some of them.
That's insane.
But if that's what you want to do, that's fine. I just have no desire to do it. What's the heaviest game with the cutest theme?
Root?
There's one from Yellow called, it's about pigs. What's that game about pigs called? It's like an economic game where you grow the pigs and sell them.
Yeah. I know what you mean. The square pigs. Or cubic pigs.
Yeah, what's that called?
My Pig Farm, Piggy.
Anyway, it looks like this cute little game, but it's actually a pretty heavy economic game.
Yeah.
What's the number one game you wish was in the Dice Tower library? I have an answer for this.
Okay.
Spinball. I've been hunting down Spinball for a while.
Oh, the one where you
Traveling
like
the World?
do the thing and then it spins back and lands in? Bloop.
Yes. There's very few of those in existence.
Might be able to make one.
I toyed with the idea of buying a air hockey table, but we'd have to move it. That'd be cool to have a Dice Tower.
Yeah.
People would play it the whole time.
I'm trying to think of what I would want in a library that isn't in the library. I probably can't come up with an answer for that.
What if I got the Pac-Man air hockey table? That's my favorite
my
air hockey table in the world.
All the
Yes. Although that thing's got to weigh like 600 pounds.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah, I don't think I have an answer for that. It's a well-stocked library. If you're looking for anything incredibly specific that we don't have in there, then you have very refined, specific tastes at this point.
Did anyone honk or wave at you during the Dice Tower van trip tour from Gen Con? I don't think so.
I don't think anybody did, but we did get to see a picture, 1 or 2 pictures of folks who saw us on the road and then shared that with us.
If you do that, send me those pictures. I would love to see those. I'm just curious, but again, it's a dot moving through the United States. If you don't see it. Now, if you saw it at Gen Con, that's more deliberate.
That's different, yeah.
How did my stomach hold up after the blue hot dog? It wasn't that bad, actually. I ate some fries. Fries calms everything down.
Fries is like the Swiss of the world, but for your stomach.
Is the Artemis Project you were referencing something different to the worker placement game set in Europe? No. I think it's called the Artemis Project, or Project Artema, or... It's a computer game where you are
Maybe
flying.
it's just called Artemis.
It might just be called Artemis. It's a computer game where it's like Star Trek. They don't call it Star Trek. And then each person has their own console. Like I might be weapons, Z might be communication. Someone is science. There is also one steering the ship.
I guess somebody's navigating.
One person stands behind us. When we did it back in the day, we had Eric because he sounds like a good captain.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
It's really fun. I mean, you just kind of
do stuff to keep it's like a simulation. It's a little bit like the Kobayashi Maru kind of thing.
Yeah.
Obviously, the graphics are not it's an old game. It looks old. You know what I mean? But
yeah, it looked old when we played it 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Nowadays, but I didn't care because it's just neat to be like, go talk to these people, and the communication officer can taunt people. There are some things that are more fun than others. I think weapons is fun. Steering the ship is fun. The science officer is not as fun, but you're like, oh, I'm checking this planet. Oh, look,
Yeah. It's a neat group activity thing. If you love Star Trek, this is a fun thing to try with friends who are Trekkies as well. It's an experience.
Was there a lot of indie booths? I think so. They have that entrepreneur section.
Mm-hmm.
What indie game stood out at Gen Con? I saw this game. I don't know if we got a copy of it. I don't think we did. There was a little dodgeball game. A small company had this dodgeball game where you would take these discs and you throw them from one card to another.
I think I saw that.
Yeah, it was just this little company I'd never seen before.
That's cool. My stomach is growling.
Will there be an opportunity to buy new release games at Dice Tower West? Well, maybe. There's booths at Dice Tower West for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're interested in that, email us. We decorate the wall behind us to look like the French flag on purpose? No, but that's funny.
Oh, wow. I'd never even noticed that.
If that was all blue, that'd be funnier.
Yeah.
The tiles.
The tiles are blue-black, and then the wall is actually a light blue, but I can see how it looks whitish. Got to represent.
Jeffrey says, I miss when Gen Con was less crowded and vendors were actively trying to grab people to do demos.
Ugh, not me. No, I'm sorry. I love a big convention like that where there's a lot of people and there's a lot to do and going on, but I'm not a fan. I've never been, whether it's there or at a store like a Circuit City. They used to do this all the time. The hounding salesman.
Yeah, and
not a fan.
Even at Gen Con, I am hesitant to walk down the book section because those authors almost always call out to me like, hey, you want to see my book? I'm like, well, no, if I had wanted to, I would have stopped, and now I feel weird because we're in this conversation.
Yeah.
It's
fine often. I'm not saying that these
huge
people
crowds aren't amazing. I don't like huge crowds, but you want that in between if you can.
You do. And I'm not by any means saying that the people running demos who do these things are annoying at all. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that it's having to shoot people down because I'm on my way to something. After the fifth person, I just feel bad. I'm like, no, sorry, thank you, no, thanks. It's like you just keep telling these people, basically, stop bothering me is what you're saying, kind of.
You don't like the open market stuff, do you? Like when we went to Haiti and the people come up and they're like really...
No, if they're all up in your face, I don't like that.
I like it if I'm going in to do it.
I'll buy it. You can say hi, you can do whatever. You can even be like, look what I've got, but they're pretty hounding sometimes.
Haiti was really bad.
Yeah, they're like,
all in
and
your
I
face.
get it, but I don't like that style of selling at something like this.
It doesn't happen very often, though, at game cons.
No.
If you want to go to a game con that's not as crowded as Gen Con, go to Origins. It's less crowded. PAX is definitely less crowded. It was pretty crowded on Saturday and Sunday, right?
Yeah. PAX feels like it has a bigger floor, too, so it doesn't feel crowded.
But PAX has no carpet. I like that carpet. I was just looking at pictures of Origins. I realized they don't do the carpet either. That carpet in the aisles makes a big difference.
Big time. Big time. Your feet will thank you.
Have we seen Mission Impossible or Oppenheimer? I've seen neither.
Mm-mm.
What's your favorite non-US TV show?
The IT Crowd, which is a British show.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that. I like the show from Brazil called 3%.
Mm.
It's
Is that a Netflix thing?
Yeah, it was. It's set in a future, and life isn't great. So these people live on an island, and they're the 3%. So every year when people turn a certain age, they all go in and they go through this series of tests.
Okay.
And the top 3% get to go to the island. And I just love that whole testing system.
Top 3% based on what?
All kinds of things. Mental capabilities, strength.
Oh, interesting.
It's definitely, is this the way we should be doing it? But I just like the whole, they first run them through a question test, and some people fail there. Then they have like mental tests, and some people are cheating, and they're like, that's okay. It's kind of weird.
Interesting.
And it follows like several of these people, and you're kind of rooting for them to make it or not make it.
Very Orwellian kind of vibe.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Okay.
I
see Mike DeLisio right there. What
this Dice Tower?
No, this right there.
Oh.
Look at this guy.
Sorry, that was me.
I don't even know what that means.
Oh, it was up here where he talked about Amazon Japan's a good option.
Oh, I see. And then he jumped out. Yeah, Amazon Germany, Amazon, and Japan are both good. I've gotten things from the German Amazon website.
I gotta be careful that I don't I'm not trying to exclude countries. I mean, there's so many countries you could say, Korea, China.
Gosh.
You know, there's just, I like
Many
them all.
of them are making great games already, though.
Teachers need to go on the Dice Tower cruise. Is there a way to change the next cruise to the spring break week? Well, first of all, spring break is different everywhere.
Yeah.
But no, then our prices will go through the roof. One of the reasons we do it in January. Also, January in Florida is an amazing time of year.
Yes.
And we're going south of Florida. The cruise ship leaves and goes down, and it's nice and warm.
So good.
It's great to go swimming, but it's not overly hot. It would be hotter later on. But a lot of it's also for timing for us, and I hate that a lot of teachers can't come, but you can come to other events. Come in July, you can all come to Dice Tower East.
Yeah.
And we have an amazing pool there, which I did not go in this year.
It was pretty, it was hopping this year.
Well, that's because it was so hot. People were just like jumping in there with all their clothes on. Like,
Just about.
I need to have a meeting. Everyone in the pool.
In the pool, yeah. Yeah, it was hot.
Are we gonna do more meetups like Level Up? If we can, because Level Up was very useful. It was directly on the way to Gen Con. Well, not directly, but almost.
Yeah.
We drove slightly out of our way. Stores that are completely out of our way, or like even for us to drive, just to get out of Florida takes 6.5 hours from where we're at. If you have a store in Miami, we'll come.
We can make it to
Will
that
someone
one.
please open a store in Miami?
Yeah, the folks over at Level Up Games were fantastic, though, and we had a very good time there. So certainly wouldn't exclude doing such a thing because of the experience. The experience there, I thought, went really well. Lots of folks came out and said hello, played games. Yeah, it made for a great afternoon. Very good.
Who owns the most games in their personal collection at the Dice Tower?
Technically, it's you because all the games in the library are Tom's.
Right, okay, well, we'll cut that out. So, Mike just moved. If Mike hadn't moved, I would have said Mike.
Yeah, he did cut some things to move.
And Chris moved. No, he just moved recently.
I have about 440, something like that.
Maybe it's you then. You have a lot of small games. That makes your collection look smaller.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
Oh, maybe Joey.
Oh, wait. Oh, wait. Joey has like tremendous amounts of games.
He really
He
does.
has like thousands of games, I think.
Yeah.
Because he has like storage for them.
He
And
loves.
there's also Kenny, but
We're not counting Kenny.
we're not counting his like games because they're in shrink. Yeah, it's got to be Joey.
And if we go even
There's
farther
Joey,
out,
see?
if we go even farther out,
Summoned him.
Jason
Jason.
has probably the most, but
But
also
again,
all
if it's in shrink wrap, we don't count it.
How close do we live to Dice Tower Studio? Well, it takes me a few minutes to walk here. I live right around the corner.
He
lives farther.
20 minutes?
Well, don't get the exact minutes. Someone will triangulate it.
That's a huge circle.
Yeah, I know, but they'll still have it narrowed down to that circle.
26 minutes.
Let's see here. Oh, someone asked the best and worst driver. The worst driver is me. Are you guys glad they didn't wait to sell the One Ring card at Gen Con so they could have competed with Lorcana? Oh, that would have been That would have been crazy. Can you imagine if that had launched at Gen Con? Magic with the One Ring?
And Lorcana, that's insane at that point. At that point, it's like, maybe I'll take a day off. You know what I mean? That would be wild.
Does anyone in Dice have road rage? I don't think so. I didn't wake up suddenly to someone getting mad.
No.
It was actually a fairly
was good.
peaceful trip. There's a little bit of traffic around Atlanta on the way up. Atlanta driving is a little crazy, and we definitely felt that. And then on the way back, you hit some construction.
A lot of construction. We're driving late at night, so a lot of lane shutdowns. Dealt with some rain on the way up and on the way down.
Happily, not as much. We missed the biggest downpours.
Yeah, I got it did seem, and we were laughing about this in the van, that it seemed like every time I was up at bat, something weird was going on. Road closures or what have you. Accidents, slowing down.
Z is the voice of the people in regards to the blue hot dog.
I need to watch this footage to see this blue hot dog.
Oh, that went up yesterday, I guess. So, this person, wow, we're like so far behind on questions. And only a few more minutes. Sorry, folks, I know we started late, but we're going to end because we have a lot of other stuff to do. People are talking about standing in line now.
Happy Pigs? Yeah.
Happy Pigs. That's the name of the game. That looks cute, but there's also a game with the stretchy pigs. I think Nazi did.
Yeah, because the Happy Pigs is just square pigs, and they just get bigger. They don't get longer. But there was another game which was about the pigs being longer pigs. That one was not as thinky of a game. Happy Pigs, though, really flew under the radar, but it's a good game.
Get a Dice Tower pinball machine made. That'd be great.
Ooh.
I was just talking the other day about
that.
a pinball machine. No one here owns one. I've always wondered, would I want to own one? I love pinball, but I feel like I would play it and then get bored of it.
What's one pinball machine? You know what I mean?
And it takes up so much room.
Yeah, you go to a pinball place, how long do you play any one of them? Really?
Even if I love the game, right? I wouldn't want to play it every day.
That's the fun of a pinball place, is checking out all the different ones, I think. Yeah, I'm not a big pinball person. I definitely wouldn't own one.
Starship Horizons, I guess, was the name of the Artemis style game at Gen Con.
Oh, okay, cool. Starship Horizons. That is a very good name for it.
Why do live chats want to make you eat something? Because it's pretty close to lunchtime. You see anything here? Any last questions?
You tried the 2-player retro Pong arcade machine. I don't know what that is.
Oh, where it's like two players playing Pong against each other?
Is it like an arcade machine? An actual, like...
Maybe. I've seen it before.
Video game?
Yeah, there's an old arcade machine. It might have been at the Pinball Hall of Fame. I didn't see it at Gen Con. At Gen Con, I always saw the pinball games.
There's a few games at that Pinball Hall of Fame in Vegas that I would definitely... that I would consider owning, obviously, if I had a big house and blah, blah, blah. And if they were in good conditions, because the ones they've got are pretty beat up. But some of those games are fantastically fun. And I'm not talking about the video games. I'm talking about some of the action tables.
I agree. Like at my house, for example, and this is that more than just there, if I was, again, big mansion, lots of money,
Yeah.
I would have is it pigeon bowling or whatever it's called, duck bowling with the little balls?
I don't know what that... what do you do with it?
It's bowling. But the pins are all on ropes. Everything's smaller. The ball is like this big.
Yeah, I've seen that.
It's like that. I would have one of those. At the Pinball Hall of Fame, there's this 2-player pinball game where you hit it, and then the pinball tilts the other way, and you have to hit it past the line to make it tilt. It's like against each other.
I'm thinking of the one that has like all the... Like a little ball is in there, and wherever it lands, it settles. You have to press that button, and it launches it to the other place.
I love that game.
That thing is fantastic. So fun. Yeah, definitely. If it was like, limitless money kind of thing, I would just get a bowling lane. I would have a bowling lane. I do like bowling, so.
Some people have, like rich people have that in their house.
Yeah.
I've always been a little
Movie
jealous.
Theater, bowling, yeah.
See, that would get played more often, though, I think,
Yeah.
than as opposed to a pinball game. I think I would, if you have friends over, like, hey, let's bowl.
Yeah, it's a good way to hang out, socialize over a game of bowling.
All right, folks. Well, it's 11:01, so we're going to end here because, like I said, we got stuff to do. So we got videos going up all weekend, and we'll be back on Monday. Until then, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Z Garcia, folks.
We'll see you next time. Oh, I still haven't found this video file. One of these days, I'm going to add that in. We're out.
Bye.
Okay, we're out for real.